Welcome back to Dimitri's Garage, and today we're going to review two spray waxes. First up is the Griot Garage Ceramic 3-in-1 Wax. It claims to have superior hydrophobic properties, extreme durability, and intense gloss. The second product we're looking today is the Meguiar's Hybrid Ceramic Wax. It claims to offer crazy water beading, and it's supposed to be very durable and an easy way to apply ceramic technology. Now, both products that we're looking at are ceramic, but Meguiar's is different in that you can apply it as you wash. I'm very interested in seeing how these two perform. Let's get at it. The first step of our testing is going to be application to our test hood. Now, I'll leave a link right up here for you that'll show you where I got the hood and what I did to prepare it. It's not perfect paint, but it is kind of representative of a daily driven car that had a paint correction. As usual, I've done a one-step corrective polish. I do that for every non-coating test. Let's kick things off with this Meguiar's Ceramic Hybrid Wax. In the beginning, they tell you that you can apply it basically like a regular spray wax. You can put it on the surface and wipe it down and dry it. But when you're washing your car, they say you can just kind of rinse it off and then do your regular dry, so you don't actually have to get it all off the surface. You'll just be able to rinse. We're going to shake this guy up and we're going to apply just a small amount on the surface here. We will use one side of our towel to spread it around. It smells like berries. It's pretty interesting. We'll get all of it off the paint. It's actually coming up very easy. Now, ease of application is a 1-point pass-fail system where we give a point if the product was easy to use. There's no doubt in my mind that the Meguiar's Hybrid Ceramic Wax deserves 1 point and a pass for ease of application. And now it's time to move on to our Griot Garage Ceramic 3-in-1 Wax. Now, the instructions here do suggest that you could do multiple coats as an option. We're going to do just a single coat, and the reason is it would knock the application ease down if it required multiple coats, and pretty much all products benefit from multiple coats. In our testing, we just do 1 coat. We're going to give it a nice shake. The spray action on this is much nicer than the Meguiar's. And now we're going to spread it around. This one smells good too, but almost like cologne or something. It's pretty good. It's not bad. So this one I think was actually easier to use than the Meguiar's, but they're both going to get a point. This one definitely gets a point. It's pretty much perfect with a spray on and buff off application. We are going to give this panel 24 hours to cure, and we'll also pull this tape up right here, and then we'll see a nice edge between the treated and untreated, and hopefully we could see what the contrast is. Before we move on to gloss meter testing, I wanted to ask you guys to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, leave me a thumbs up and a nice comment. It means a lot to me, and when you guys do that, it really helps me feel like I'm growing the community. I love interacting with all of you, and it really encourages me to make more of these videos. Now let's go test some gloss. This is my gloss testing station. Here we use this little gloss meter to determine if the base gloss of this panel has gone up or down with the application of the different waxes we're testing. For those of you joining me for the first time, the way the scoring here works is for every 1/10 of a gloss unit that the panel is hurt or improved by the wax, we will add that amount of points or subtract that amount of points from the score. A key note for today's testing is that this panel is no longer 90 gloss units. I went kind of crazy with some polish. I was trying to remove some of the little scratches, and I kind of improved some of them a bit. But I ended up raising the panel's gloss to 94 gloss units. I always test it with my gloss meter when I'm done, so the new base is 94, not 90, starting from this video. The very first thing we're going to do is turn the gloss meter on. We're going to delete any old results. We're going to recalibrate it. What we want to do is see that it says 104 for a few cycles so that we know it's staying calibrated. Now we're going to throw it out here somewhere. And we're going to start taking our first results. So we're going to use my handy calculator to record this. So here we're seeing 94.5. And we're going to measure 5 samples and then average them out. Looks like 93.2 over here. Ooh, 94.5 over there. Looks like 94 even. 92.1 over here. Now we've got 468.3 points. We're going to divide that by 5. So 93.7 we're going to call it, minus 94. So we're going to take 0.3 of a point off. That's not too bad at all. Most products really heavily reduce the gloss. I would say a minority of products actually improve it. Make sure it still stays on 104. Then let's do some testing. Looks like 90.7 over here. Let's call that 88.2. I'm going to go with 87.4 over here. Let's go with 90.3. And then 89.5 over here. We see we're still calibrated. Now this one scored a total of 446.1. We're going to divide that by 5 for 89.2 as our final gloss unit score. We're going to subtract 94, and that gives us 4.8 points that we're going to subtract. One of the things I like to do at this point is to see if either of the products are resistive to isopropyl alcohol. I don't score this test as I don't expect products to be resistive. ISO is generally known as an agent for removing waxes, hence why I don't expect that. And what we're looking for is for the ISO to create those bubbles as the molecules come together, just like they do with water, because of the hydrophobic property of the wax. And we can see a big difference here already. The Meguiar's immediately fails with ISO. The Griot's is actually still battling it. So let's try wiping it up. Let's do a second spritz. The Griot's was initially working, but we could see it actually failed from the ISO. It had better resistance than the Meguiar's, but not much resistance. And you can see now we're right around 94 gloss units. It's an average of 5 points. And same thing over here. See? It's now been well over 24 hours, and we're ready to talk about the slickness and the visual appeal of our panel. As you'll note, I've removed the tape. We use a pass-fail system to determine if the wax is making the surface nice and slick. The point of a slick surface is to make it safer for cleaning when you're washing. It creates sort of an already pre-lubricated surface that allows things to come off of it easier. Now, I think the Griot's is pretty darn slick. I don't think it's the slickest thing in the world, but it is very good. Now, the Meguiar's hybrid ceramic wax, I think, is even slicker by maybe just a little bit than the Griot's. I don't think it's a huge difference. I don't think it's quite as slick as the Wolfgang on the Mustang back there. Definitely a pass over here. Let's explore visual quality for a second. In my viewfinder right now, I can actually see the line between the treated and untreated, so I really hope you will be able to see it too. It's right there, right in the middle. I think it's showing up probably the clearest out of all my recent tests. I don't know that the Meguiar's is the shiniest wax I've ever seen, but man, it's got that real nice candy depth. It's kind of like having another clear coat on top of your paint. Now over here on the Griot's side, I do think the original paint gloss comes through very cleanly. I just don't get a lot of depth. So if we look over here, there's really no line between the two. I can't see it with my bare eye, and I can't see it with the camera either. I can certainly feel it with my hand. Visual appeal, how good the product looks, is also a pass-fail category. In my system, essentially, if it makes the paint look worse than the control, it is a fail. Most products actually make the surface look the same or better. Most products pass. In this case, both of these definitely pass. It's kind of a hard toss-up. I do think that the Griot's is shinier. It is a little more poppy, but man, there is a nice deep, like wet candy look on the Meguiar side. I think it just lays on much thicker than the Griot's. Before we test durability, I just wanted to remind you that, as usual, there are Amazon affiliate links down below in the description. There are links to products we're testing today, and anytime you click through and buy one of those products, or even anything at all on Amazon, I get a very small commission at no cost to you. It allows me to buy tools and more test waxes. Most of the products I do not receive for free. Also, remember, I have a link to my website down below in the description as well. That website has all the wax test results, And you can go back and see how the products we're looking at today compared to prior products in a big table. Now we're gonna do the durability testing. For those of you new to the channel, I will award 1 point to each wax for every time I'm able to wash it until the wax deteriorates to where I would no longer consider keeping it on my car. Now we use a foam cannon from Adams along with Adams pH neutral shampoo. Now we did test that shampoo and I'm gonna leave a video right up here where you can see the testing. I have used the same shampoo throughout the entire series and will continue to do so. Let's begin first by seeing just how hydrophobic the two are. Let's start with the Griots. Very hydrophobic. Let's take a look at the Meguiars. They're honestly both pretty good. I think maybe the Griots is just a little more hydrophobic. We're now gonna lather both of these up and do our very first wash. Now after our first wash comes our first rinse. And once we've got the first rinse done, we're gonna see if both are still hydrophobic and working well. We could see a nice contrast with the control on the Griot side. It still seems to be working. Very happy with both of these so far. The Meguiar's is definitely working like a champ too. Now what I'm gonna do is keep washing these and stop occasionally to tell you about the milestones. All right guys, I'm about to do the 5th rinse and we're starting to see results. We're gonna focus on this area over here where the contrast happens between the control and the treated side. That's our best way of starting to see how the failure is occurring. Let's look at the Griots first. We can see while the wax is still working, it's starting to perform very poorly. I would imagine there's only a few more washes left in this one after 5. Now let's look at the Megs. The Meguiar's is certainly faring better. Again, we're starting to see deterioration. Let's examine both sides and see if we're ready to call one of these. Let's really focus up here to see the difference in performance, and again on the line where the control is. We could see the Meguiar's is still draining off really quickly. And we could see that the control down here is working pretty much the same as up here. There's not a real big drain difference. I would not consider this a passing wax anymore. If this were on my car, I would take that off. So we're gonna call 7 for the Griots. The Megs, on the other hand, is still working. It is deteriorating though. I think I might have to call Meguiar's a 12. Let's look together. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. There's pockets left on both sides that still work, but overall it's way too toast for me to keep on the car. So starting with the Meguiar's product, I thought that the hybrid ceramic wax was pretty decent. I don't think it's the greatest spray wax out there, but the durability was not bad. The shine could have been better. You know, knocking off 4 gloss units isn't that great. It's not terrible either. The cool part is how thick it went on. The visual appeal of a really thick, deep layer was really nice. If you're more into the depth than you are just the sheer brilliance, I would say this is definitely a product for you. I found it very visually appealing. The slickness was also pretty decent for a spray wax. And then sort of the other consideration for this is that it can be used wet. Those of you guys that apply products every single time you wash, not me, but some of you guys definitely do that, this could be a really great option. Not a bad product at all. If you're interested in a wet application product, you want to wax every time, this could be the product for you. So now let's do the wrap up for the Griot product. What are my thoughts? Well, the durability definitely could have been better. I don't think this is a top durability product. However, it's not bad. There are definitely weaker spray waxes out there. We've seen plenty. However, I think the visual appeal is good if you're looking for gloss. It didn't knock any gloss down off our panel. It maintained a nice gloss. The other aspect that I liked was that it was still fairly slick for a spray-on product. A lot of spray-on products are not all that slick. It wasn't quite as slick as the Meguiar's, but it was still pretty nice. And then of course for ease of application, there's really nothing simpler. This is as easy as any of the easiest spray products. You spray it on, you buff it off. So final thoughts on the Griot's 3-in-1, I think it's kind of solidly in the middle. Maybe not one that I would recommend in any of my, top favorites. Well guys, as usual, it's been a ton of fun making this for you. I hope you enjoyed the video as well. And I really hope to see you down below in the comments. And please remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'll catch you again real soon.